Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Coming live from Fiber Heart, children of God. And that's you, and that's you, and that's me, and that's me. Just recapping on the last year of being at our new place. There's been some interesting events, as always. I hope you can hear me well enough, like this. Oh, the puppies heard me up. Ain't no tortillas in here. No tortillas. Crisped up. Oh, but this is part of what they got. Went to Dollar General or the General Dollar. I never can keep track of those Chinese stores. We got them. And then John videoed it. It's pretty funny. We did like how many seconds? Flat and shredded. It's pretty quick. Thanks for bringing that to me. Hope you liked that. Did ya? Okay, so I wanted to do some updates. My back thing, that was highly concerning I was on several weeks. I'm not going to get into trying to explain it because I've had physical pain since I was a little girl. It would have been related to the autoimmune disorder that was misdiagnosed or whatever. Just a fun experiment. So we're going to, so it's like, it's mainly just almost 50 years of physical pain with very few breaks across the 50 years. It gets old, you know what I mean? It's like I'm swollen weird over here. Let's just cover that up. It's like a weird shadow here. How about this? Don't you think this is better? I do too. I mean, it keeps us focused on what's important. The only thing is I can't see the... Birds, many birds, many birds, which is fun because I let that little pasture grow up. So far, no hate letters, frauded township letters threatening. Not yet, we had the fun well exploration. That's funny too because there's a spot, I don't want to say specifically because here was our big first lesson on... Well, first of all, thank God it's not in like 100 degrees. Well, now it'd be more like 90, but it feels like 100 or more. Or super, super duper cold while we're trying to figure out doing Detective Kook work to find the well, because we took the young student guy that was sent through the well company. I took him on one of my funny little chases around around the corridor of the 2 spots, I think, were the access points. I'm going to say there was obviously more than one access point because this property was so old. My other concern is because it is a shallow well, that would be easily contaminated. Secondly, he was tied into the well. Thank God he doesn't have a voice recording. So I think I was a little bit up for some trouble today. Between the pain and digging a trench for my husband's weekend birthday together. At one point, I will be honest right now, we each said, how about if one of us just go down there and we just cover it up? And it wasn't abusive, it's just that's how we feel. It's just like, you dig your way up and then you fall back down. And we dig our way up with the Lord and then we fall back down. And so we just are getting used to it. But at the same time, we don't have the same level of tolerance. And I think that the demons know that. So, for instance, and this is going to be one of my jump arounds to try to do updates. Okay, so did we find the well point? Yeah, and it is a funny story, but I'll trail off too much and forget what I'm saying and then go back around and then we'll be talking about the pimp mom at the store with her daughters. And we're going to get to that. So I kept going over to this one spot because it was so odd to me when we got the house, one of the first areas. Well, first of all, it was that this lady had roses that were so big. They're like smaller trees. I mean, I never seen anything like it. And a lot of them were cut down, okay? I mean, if you look at the trunk, like on some of them, they're like, it's that big around. Okay, so I mean, we could call that a rose tree for sure. Obviously, it's just a rose bush. They were just very old. This one here, I was going to take it down. This was one of my first videos back last spring. And he was having like a real problem when I was like over this way. And I knew that these wells would be shared. Because if this is the oldest house and then the well was around, right? And so then, so where's the well access point? Because probably should have been our first focus when we got here. To then get a outside pump, lock it up, but for emergency purposes, when power is out, I don't know if that order was placed or not. Because I believe there was two. I know this one point, it seems like it was a well access point, another point, because it's so old. So 100 years or more, how many points did they, well, maybe not though. So we got to get digging. So we get digging. And the boy did help to some degree. He did. He kind of was also, I think, wanting to scare us a bit. But he's young and funny. You know, those youngsters. You got to giggle. And so the birds, so beautiful. The well, so beautiful. So I always kept going over to this spot, though. It's just what's funny. Because it had a lot of extra decorative rocks, like bigger sized rocks. I love rocks. I love the ones that you, and when you're digging even, and you find, you know, like today we found like a huge one, and I'm just intrigued by them because they're a rock and pretty durable. Okay, so grounding, you know, it's a very grounding experience. They're all distinctly different. I think it's just something beautiful from God. I don't like digging though. Okay, I'll get that out of the way. I can dig good, but I don't like to do it. So, not when it's, you know, up to my, I'm pretty short, so it was at least up to my, my thigh area. Woo. So we found it. Funny part is it was by the last remaining rose thing that I literally was going to cut down. And I got cut up pretty good last year. But I was determined to just at least trim off the dead parts. And it was difficult because it was so large and messy. And it's right up on his little barricade over here. So I can see that there was some kind of battle over wells, or it was something. So we find out that it was a shared well, obviously. That would be 20-some years ago. But see, this is where I'm still getting confused, is why at the point when it looked like he was going down a little more where by his fence area, water rose to the surface more. And then we're having a little bit of a problem. Sure, it's just coincidental, right? Okay. So thank God the back's better, but this is not. This is different frequencies. Like, I can't even tell you, like, up to down to low to higher again. So I get about 4 hours of sleep, and then if I can try to swing another 4 hours of sleep, and then I just keep, that's how my day is broken up. And so I don't know, because this is taking too long, I wanted to maybe go back to Isaiah 49, and I came up with a way, if I have it spelled right finally, is, no, there it was. Isaiah is after the Song of Solomon. You know what, though? I'm wondering about storage space. So I came up with a way. Maybe this will help me for once to remember. Isaiah is I. Like say I. No, say is. A. I. Ah. So is, like is. I-S. A. I. Ah. And so we could say, just like, maybe that would help to remember how to spell it. I don't know. I wanted to read the descriptive of this. I did the best I could prior in my last video today before the bizarre one about brushing hair, but progress, not perfection. Yeah, under whatever I was induced into or put under to live was you learned real quick how to do your own things. Because, well, I didn't like my head to hurt. So she liked to slam the brush down on my head, and it always had to be this one stupid short bristled brush, and it hurt. And so you just learn to do your own things more. Learn to brush your hair and try your best to get your own boundaries set up in between the fondlings and beatings and abuse and terror. So praise God, isn't it funny? I kept walking over to where the well was before we ever realized we have to check the line or whatever. And he was always really odd about that. So if I went in that spot, it looks like a little garden spot, but it's up higher. And I was like, is that this whole property? It's just like, this has to be up here. And the pool's like, here we are, everyone. We're the biggest dogs in the neighborhood. And that we'd have to have like a 20-foot high fence or more. So I think I got the freak across the street in order. I did one of my performances the last time. I had gotten the camera out one time to go video him. It didn't seem to knock him straight very well. So I had to go in for the bigger one. And I know that this is not in agreement with other people targeted, nor probably many Christians. And that's fine. That's fine. You do what you do with the Lord. I'll do what I do with the Lord. And then we'll see if we meet up one day. Or maybe I burn in hell too. I don't know. And so I do know. But so I believe my last performance, one of my main performances is I smack my big fat ass. And I bend over a little bit and I just give it a good swat. And it hurts, actually. But it's so much more large and diverse now. There's a much more larger area to hit. So I usually do one of those and then my traditionals. And so I'd say this is my trademark. Is because I've had enough. You know, you get to where, you know, are you going to get capsized? Well, I don't know. It's already supposed to gun tam heaven, or did, or has almost before. How much do you if you can't just get to the dollar store and your sweatpants that I hate, that I bought, and because they were $2 at Meijer and they're huge. And if I can't wear my dirt digging trench clothes, looking is to blend in as much as possible. Not this. It's like was just like a slate pink outfit with fuchsia sweats and my stupid work boots. And I need a better pair, is if I can't blend in like that, if my husband and I can't get to there and just get $50 worth of items, like some water, because you got to get your plastics in, you know what I mean? And so, and just get through there, without the popper whoppers popping up. So I've come up with this new technique, and go ahead, click off. You do it, like I said, you do what you got to do. I do what I got to do with the Lord. Is I just start now, when I know that they're spy wisies, I just go right up and I'll ask some random question. Like, I'll say, oh, hi, how are you today? Do you come here a lot? We're new here. Do you know where the baby wipes are? I'll do something like that. It's entertaining, to say the least. And I don't know what you do for entertainment, but I have found a plethora of entertainment after what went on at Brentwood there. Psychotic murders being protected by authorities. My Social Security never came in. My information for my taxes. I'm not going to sit on the phone for another hour. And I hate going down to the office, because if you go in the winter, you might as well just take a noose in and suffocate yourself, because that's what it's like in there. They keep it so hot, and you can't barely utter a word now. I saw them kicking people out last time I was there. I'm not about to go in there and deal with them before the full moon while I'm on my menstrual. So that's just going to be a recipe for disaster. When she looks across the table at me and I got to hear, oh, well, you're going to need to get hold of the Postal Service, the Postal Investigation Services. Oh, you're part of federal. I think you can do that this time, can't you, miss? Oh, we're not part of the Postal Service. You're part of the federal. Get a hold of them yourself. I'm not sitting on the phone no more with them. They already know about it, and you know about the identity theft, and you know about my shit getting tampered with all the time. So why don't you take care of it, okay? But see, I can't talk that way there. So we didn't go this week. I had to call, get an extension with our new tax people, and explain the situation, which just makes it sound like I'm making stuff up again, because I'm like, well, I'm really sorry, ma'am, but we seem to have a difficult time getting our important mail. Did you report that to the Postal Service Investigations Department? Okay, let's try to look at something fun before we go back to the dollar store, if we even get there, is to that story. So, praise the Lord. The well was right there the whole time. Right up, just so the whole world can see her. And so, I don't know how we're going to work that out, because some asshole across the street or something will call in the fucking well pump that I want to put on, like an old-fashioned one. And then we got to have that puppy locked up tight, so I don't know what to do there, but we're going to have to do it. It's very, very important that we get that done, like ASAP. So that's our main focus. And John's birthday weekend was involving us digging a trench together. I mean, if you can't get more romantic and beautiful for someone's birthday. And, but on a funny note, he's getting older. Well, we all are. But the funniest thing that's happening with him, and I'm not sure why, and he's laughing, I'm laughing about it, so don't even say that I am a little bit cantankerous, but that's for those of you that are brain dead and washed down and so watered down and muted out that you're like a dead person, is, at first I hadn't truly noticed, because I was like, it seemed like it just happened overnight. And the other day I'm looking, and he's got these white ones, and they're like sticking out like they're electrocuted, and that's cool. Between the black, but that's not the craziest part of it, is he's got blonde ones, red ones, an auburn one, golden, white, and there was some blue. I said, blue? So my husband we're trying to come up with the funniest name for his beard, is the multiculturally mixed ethnic beard. I mean, he literally has that, and then we had a weird thing this morning with another bumblebee in the house that literally got on the side of his beard and was like running around in there. And then I hate to say that you might need to mute out here if we save it and put it back out into nature, because it wasn't behaving right. So I have my own methods in the house. Sometimes I will capture and release. It just depends. It depends on how interrogating the insect has gotten. They're not listening to directions. And maybe we do release and put back out. And lo and behold, one of his brothers or sisters has come up and about. So this one didn't fare very well, because we had already had a weird thing in the bathroom. First, he thought it was a huge spider, which wouldn't be a shock here. And I'm like, what? So then, and then the closet bathroom. This doesn't mean it's a one-person bathroom, a one-person kitchen area. Person can help you in the kitchen, but they need to stay in one sitting area to do the cooking assistance. So I'm like, oh my God, I have to come in. I'll just come in and help you. I mean, how much of a worse birthday weekend can someone have delivered to them? I mean, I'm going to start. So as far as I know, I have 6 eggs, and I'm going to make him a really great cake. That's all I have come up with so far. I don't think it can make up for this weekend with the well and stuff, but we're going to try that. So back to the pimp mom, because it's going to get discussed. So praise the Lord, we found the well. My back doesn't feel like it's going to collapse or crack in two and I'm falling and having to try to pull myself along on my hands. It's literally was feeling like I was going to be paralyzed again. And it's a very, very alarming experience to lose that, to have that being, and I'm going to say it's being done to me, because for it to just disappear, because she didn't really crack around on me much. She asked about my YouTube station. I don't want to really get into some creepy stuff that went on the last time I saw her. She helped me through the major problem with the funeral and the drama with the family and all the bullshit, keeping me from seeing Eric before he passed away, and that it was specifically done. Oh, she's going to yell at him about hell again. Yep, that's what I would do on his deathbed. I'm going to scream at him about hell. Maybe he did need that. I think Aunt Bonnie came down and did her, you got to get to Jesus before you burn in hell. And that might have worked better. But I did that prior, and I think it did start to help snap him straight. So I said, Eric, you can't justify incest. What the fuck is wrong with you? And just, we had some strange last encounters there. And I said, dude, you have got to get in. You've got cancer. They are misdiagnosing you. You need to get someone that's not going to keep ignoring you, because you have the C word and you need to go get checked out. Okay, the pimp mom. She pops up. So I've already been silly with the one lady. I'm kind of fishing. Because I can always, it's like I can see their ears like this. It's like I can see it. Like they're not doing but it's like I can just, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of those. I see a lot of things that most people don't. And most of the time it's pretty accurate. And sometimes maybe I'm gravely and horribly off. My fatness is not better, but the bloating went down a bit. So I don't like pimp moms. Okay, when you're like a pimp mom, yes, when the pimp mom is pimping her daughters. Now, if I had daughters, which they probably would have really hated me, I did good there with the son with that. But see, he didn't have his butt cheeks hanging out. And when he was going through Gangster Rap J era, being led into a pretend gang but not, and all this other crap, blood through the blood, is he wasn't going to the store with his butt cheeks hanging out during that time, and that shit got wrapped up real quick. Which is how I maneuver. So if I had a daughter, I'd be like, you know what? If you want to be a whore, I guess at your friend's house with her and her mom, and you want to go be a whore with them, that's fine. But if we go to the Dollar General, and I know the prevalence of perverts and freaks all around, then you're going to cover up the goods to get through the dollar store with your mom in a decent and respectful manner. Because I don't pimp my daughters out, okay? So that would have been, I guess, how I would have been as a mother. And I would say, you're gorgeous. Let's protect the goods for someone special one day, because everyone's got a little bit of whore in them. Okay, I was going to say this real quick about Taylor Swift. Anyone that's in their 60s, especially, who thinks Taylor Swift is just the most amazing artist in the world, and sure, we can't discount the fact she's extremely talented. Satan's talented. Anyways, for some reason, the pimp mom was there to fuck with me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm dressed up in here just like any regular Monroe person. I got my sweatpants on. They're too big and sloppy. But she started doing this. She was like a meth head too, so she must pimp the daughters out for her meth rocks. Because I can pick up on meth energy like right away. She's like stopping and then just giving me this face, right? Well, how many times am I going to take that face? Not today. Not today with the well thing. So what did I start doing? I started mirroring her face that she was giving me. I gave her her face back. Oh, that's provocation. You're a provoker. That's why you have all the trouble you do. Look, I could provoke, not provoke, suffocate myself, not suffocate myself, drop over dead, raise myself from the dead. I don't know. It ain't going to matter is that, well, I wouldn't be raising myself from the dead. God would, but it's not going to matter because people are so boring and pathetic that they can't keep themselves entertained long enough. So apparently I'm just there to entertain for all. But see, this got a little bit ugly with her and me, and I actually had to intervene with John because John was going to, like, chase her down. And so, in our car, and, so I just kept giving her their faces, but then we get out to our cars, and she's like flipping me off very violently and like screaming profanities at me, calling me names, all this crazy shit. So what did I do? I proceeded to crack my window and say, or what did I say? Nothing. I just kind of looked at her again. But then she drove off and did these extra threats and stuff. So then, yes, then I did say, like something like, stop pimping your daughters off. And then I went like this. So it was really immature. So for anyone that did observe that scene today, well, she's jumping in a super nice rig. You know what I mean? But then I got to deal with her meth head in there with her slut daughters. You know what I mean? With her whore daughters. I don't know. It's a sad, sad world. So we're going to end on that. And maybe tomorrow or the next day we'll dive back into Isaiah 49. Isaiah 49 is a big deal. All of the book of Isaiah is, because that's our promise and our hope. Joe Rogan he really does need to ask God for deliverance. And what I would suggest is for all the professionals who still really want Joe to find the Lord, stop going on his podcast to be mocked more. He's a grown-ass man. If he didn't find God yet, I think it's pretty much a waste of time. And he's one of those types as even if he ended up homeless all of a sudden, he'd just curse God again. So, or disrespect God again. He's too much of a God, Joe Rogan, to bow down to the real God. And that's just the plain, simple truth of the matter with most people is they're too much of a God. They're too much of their own God. You can't, a God isn't going to bow down to another God. But guess what? All you little gods, we're all going to be bowing down real quick. Even if our knees aren't working right, we'll all be throwing ourselves on the ground, I hope. Because that's where I am. Is to watch this decline my entire life of this planet, especially this seedy-ass town and all the bullshit cover-ups. These people here of any power or influence, all they have to do is burn their properties down. They just have to burn their rentals down. There's no proper investigations done. Nothing. They just burn the building down. So every day my prayer is the judgment day soon. And all you little gods and goddesses and mini gods and boop, 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 be thrown on your faces real quick when you see the sight of the real Lord. But don't be tricked if there's a counterfeit. So it does look like they're still wanting to brew up some kind of counterfeit operation here. So I don't know how all that ties in. There's obviously too many debates and translations of Revelation and whatnot. It's in most just, I don't know. So that's all in the fact that at least we have that saving grace with the Lord is, how do we really know? You got 500 interpretations of one script. Okay, maybe not 500, but too many. And this is a 30-minute thing, but I'm afraid I missed one. So no, I'm not proud of the pimp mom with her daughters, who pimps her daughters out. I'm not proud of my behavior. Back is miraculously better. And praise the Lord that I was able to just keep wandering around a little bit today, looking at the line that we dug a little bit of, and just it kept, the Lord must have just kept that was that silly spot that it seemed important. There was all these special rocks, like in a circle, but then a bunch of more. That's all that's here. This whole property is just full of rocks. Rocks and rock. I can make a whole other house or village just with the small pebbles and rocks all around. And I thought that that's just what we can maybe come here and do is I could just start making another cottage here with some pebbles and stuff, because I certainly have enough of them. And no, this whole program, this very, very demonic, horrible program that people are in with the government, people that I thought were my friends were in on it for years now. People all just popping up out of nowhere. They're in on it. Very few people are motivated or function on a true love basis. It is sick. I don't think we can read. Where's John? He's asleep. Jesus Christ, Armageddon could come when he's sleeping. Thank the Lord we're not both on the same schedule. They'd be up and down, up and round here in no time. Got Mr. sleeping through Armageddons and earthquakes, and I can do the same sometimes too. But thank God then he's sometimes up, and then we nap together and cuddle, and then back around again. So we stopped at 7 of Isaiah 49. I can't post this. Isaiah thus. All right, so just speaking already of he will not be out of his mother's womb, and they will be trying to kill them. Thus says the Lord, in an acceptable time, and I'm going to say this about Taylor Swift and the other whores in Hollywood. It has nothing to do with you're not talented. But I want to know. No, this is out of love. This is out of love. I want to know if you're in a position right this minute with me with Jesus, and you can read this your own because this got way too long. But we needed to update. Some really great things happen, and some not so great. And I can't wait. I'm making John this special cake. It's going to be this, because of our chubbiness, and I say things like butter is not appropriate, but it's going to be like a vanilla butter cream batter with like a milk chocolate batter. And then I want to do like where it's like swirled, like a marbly. I can't wait. I'm super excited. And then I'm going to do like some sort of like cinnamon. I have the like a natural cane sugar. And then I do like this, all I do is on the top, it's like a thin coating of like, it would end up being like a melted sugar with cinnamon. I've got some fun stuff here to make it fun. I might have like some almonds I can chop up. Something fun on top. It'll be really pretty. Kind of like caramelized. I don't know if that makes up for this weekend though. But we're still here, right? No, I pray every day now for final judgment. And if final judgment doesn't come, Lord, help me live a great, wonderful day with the most eventful things. And on that note, I just had these flashes of when Miss Ambers would sneak out of the yard area and everything. And, well, Songbird, she was the first one, but we knew she was just asking to die. It was just, they didn't want her either. They were like bullying her, and I think it was because she could sing like other birds, and nobody will believe me, but she really could. And if I could have kept her alive, she would have probably been able to imitate almost every bird because she was already learning. It actually made me wonder if she was actually a real chicken. But the thing is that she wanted to die. I mean, I think like like, see, that type of situation, she's in a chicken group, and we didn't have the rooster to keep everyone in order, or she had something wrong with her. I just think it's because she was special. She knew how to sound like other chickens. So, or other birds and stuff, she's just like this little, like, she's a songbird. She just went flopping out all the time. Put the net up, then that wasn't always safe, and I had to get a couple other birds out. That is funny, because I saw this robin. I swore he hopped up front and is like, hey, lady, do you remember me? Like, maybe not. I don't know. It's been recently, and I'm like, the one I had to rescue a couple times, and I cried while I was doing it. He or she would go flying off. It seemed like a boy, but I wasn't sure. And they were still growing, and there's one at this is a stupid conversation right now. Let's just, because it's just something special between me and God, and I don't need to share those things, because it just sounds stupid to most people, or call the loony bin again. Okay, so last word for Taylor Swift again is, if Jesus sees, if right now you and I, boom, Jesus, you and I are sitting together, we're with Jesus, and it's our last breath. God's like, this is it. This is your last breath. And Jesus says, so what do you think was something that you really influenced in the world? What do you think your most important attribute was? Well, my name's Taylor Swift, and I feel that I was able to help every little girl find the whore in them. Is that how you want to go down in history? You help little girls be whores? We can all be a whore. Some of us have extra stuff in the making to make that happen, like old abuses and stuff. But all of us have a little whore, pimp, or gigolo in us. And I just think that, you know, we can all have our moments in time where we're gigolos or whores and we messed up, or whatever the case may be. And then we just one day wake up and say, hey, I don't want to be a gigolo or a whore anymore. But, like, to have your entire premises of making girls, encouraging girls to dress like whores, to look like prostitutes, to sleep around, not have respect for each other or men, cat business, catty, you know, cat fights, which it was proven just that one of those big football games, it was proven, almost solidified, that this chick is involved so deeply in the occult. And if you are a person that literally is blind to this, I am worried for you. This does not have nothing to do with that she's gorgeous and perfect and highly talented and knows how to be a gigolo pimp whore. Because that's literally what she is. I think now her and Post Malone, I'm like, is she going from the foot? Even though it's just like, they'll say it's just a video. And I don't know Post Malone, but I was really disappointed that he would even team up and do work with her. And it had me a little bit alarmed, but I don't know a thing about him. I liked some of his tunes, kind of, but a lot of them started to sound the same at one point. She's going to be with Post Malone next. She'll leave this football player high and dry. Either he knew it was coming or not, and this was all just a big game show for everyone, or he'll have his head pretty fucked up. I doubt it. The premises of this culture is it's money, fame, and power and influence. That's it. If you're not helping promote that in someone's life, they just cut you. They'll go on to the next. It's opportunistic. That's all it is. And so I just want to say to all the whores in Hollywood, if this was our last day on earth and Jesus says, I just need you to explain to me what you think your main influence was on this earth. And you might say, well, I think I sang really good, or I did this and that and the other. And Jesus goes, no, all you did was you helped little girls want to be whores, and you helped little boys be gigolos. Okay, I love you. Bye. And there's a price to be paid for that. So why don't we change that around now? Why don't we just change it around? All right. Have a good one.